Welcome back to the side table, everyone. This is yet to be available on iTunes because I keep putting it off. Welcome, Joshua.
Thank you. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'm your guest speaker today,
Yes, my guest speaker.
as opposed to usual when I'm still here.
Uh-huh. Well, with intros, I never have when introducing. It's just like it's never planned. Everything else is planned, but never the intro.
Don't lie, nothing's planned.
Well, with like topics, topics are easier to like navigate to or start versus the intro.
Sure, but we
where
don't.
You just, continue.
I was just gonna say
Sorry.
we don't like plan it out in the sense that we say we're gonna talk about this, this, and this, and nothing else, or here's kind of like the key points we want to hit. We literally just have a Word document with like we could talk about any of this.
No, I should mention, like, in my mind, I have I have all these like sub-opinions on something I want to mention.
Gotcha.
But then the podcast starts and I'm like, I never thought about how to do the intro. But yeah, no, I checked this morning actually if we were still in iTunes, like the first 24 or however many episodes that we
had recorded.
Yeah, had recorded prior to starting this up again. And we're not on there, so I think what I'll do is I'll just like set up this is a lot of back end stuff that no one cares about, but
That's okay. I care about it.
yeah, thank you. So I'm thinking I'll just set it up and then we'll just upload all the episodes that we have recorded since we started up again. And then just
Are you not going to upload the old ones?
Well, the thing with that is the hosting site I want to go through caps you out on space each month.
Gotcha.
So I would be uploading like backlogged episodes for months
in order to hit that.
Yeah, so we would be behind constantly. So I guess I'll just like title these either like how they are.
I would just leave them as they are.
Yeah, and then so it'll be on whenever this shows up on iTunes, it'll start like episode 24 or whenever we started. But if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or what have you, it's all on YouTube.
There's a playlist. Nice. Actually has all of the current ones too.
Yes, the great archive. And in hindsight, I'm okay with us just uploading our most recent stuff because when I reflect and watch older videos or listen to like my older self,
it's not great, is it?
No, I mean there's some parts where I've acknowledged in the past at that moment that I need to like chill the fuck out or do something else, like kind of adjust how I'm presenting myself or trying to like be funny or I'm glad that's kind of left behind, and I feel like that's like baggage I've been carrying for a while with the maintaining like the same channel and all that.
Speaking of maintaining the channel, here's a topic for you. You'll have noticed the name of the channel has changed.
Oh yes,
and I changed. Yeah, so I want to hear that.
Okay, so when I first started, so this is going to be a little story, so I apologize.
That's why I asked. I figured it would be.
I didn't want it to be me talking the first like 10 minutes. So when the quarantine, lockdown, what have you, first started with this pandemic, I was still heavily on Reddit, and I read this one thing. I don't remember who it was, but during like the Black Plague or one of the plagues, it might have been like Isaac Newton. I don't know if it was. I don't remember. But anyway, it's someone who like created like this giant theory of like physics. I don't know what it was or something, but he did it all during lockdown. Like he did his passion and just like dumped, time and energy into work and created like a fantastic thing. And I'm like, okay, I want to do something. I don't want to just like sit around during the quarantine, and just go like and drive myself insane. So I'm like, okay, what am I decent at, or like what do I have, former knowledge or skill at? And that was, making somewhat entertaining videos and putting them on YouTube as a form of like creating, as a form of expressing oneself. I thought that was perfect because every other avenue I've tried has just kind of led to either frustration or just I'm not skilled in that sense, and like realizing that like really sucks. And so
It
I
does
I
sometimes.
switched. It does. It really does. And so I switched to the channel, but since I don't have a co-host anymore on Pillow Talk, it was just me. So I changed the profile picture to like the zoomed in face of just the frumpy guy of the frumpy pillow. I changed the banner to like just the frumpy pillow. And I think that's all. And I changed up like some of the descriptions. I changed up like a couple things to where it was more, it was more me. And recorded like 30 or almost 40 some episodes of Bloodborne, and throughout the whole thing, like, we started up this podcast again and that. But it was really like doing all this kind of made me realize that what I wanted to do, as mentioned before, is,
Producing that content.
yeah, doing a production company, kind of thing. And since I was like heading everything and getting everything together and all that, I was like, I should make this more centric around me, not to not to shove you aside, Joshua.
No,
or
I
like
understand, but
or-
this is entirely your project.
yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I should probably change the name of the channel. And I was thinking, I want to keep with like the bedroom theme, like, pillow talk, the side table.
You
I
didn't
really
want
like,
to pillow talk with yourself, like talk sexy to yourself.
no, because that's just weird. That's like, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. That's weird.
I've never seen the movie, so I.
Oh, spoiler alert. Don't want to spoil it for you. It's a fantastic movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, trivia of the day, the only horror movie to ever win Best Picture and Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Actress. The four
wow.
big ones. Yeah. One of the few movies, I think, to do so. But no, it's a phenomenal movie. Anyway, I was, sticking with the bedroom theme, and I'm like, okay, how can I make it, more individualized?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking of like mattress sizes.
I was going to ask, is it in reference to mattress size or pillow size, which are kind of, they go together anyway.
Yeah, it was mattress size.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, there's queen, there's king. Oh, there's king. My last name's King. King.
There's California Kings.
Oh, California Kings?
Yeah, they're a little bit
Ooh.
thinner and a little bit longer.
Oh, I didn't realize that. There's just so many things about beds I haven't.
Well,
I
and
hadn't
then they call like
realized.
freaking beds for one person like twin beds. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I know. And twins are. I thought I had a twin. Well, then there's like a twin and a full. Is there a full?
Right, a full is I think just a little bit wider than a twin, but still kind of made for one person.
Yeah, and it's between a queen and a twin, correct?
Between a queen and between a queen and a twin, and then you get your full, and then your queen, and then your king, and then you've got some weird sizes above that too.
So was my bed then back home? Was that full? I want to say it was full.
I'm
'cause
pretty sure it was
queen.
a full size. Yeah, because it's not a queen. Because we have a queen bed, and it's a little bit bigger, I think, than what you had.
And I wonder what size bed this is, because this bed that Sarah had looks the same as mine. I don't know.
Do you have a
Anyway,
measuring tape handy?
I do not.
No.
Oh, actually, I do. It's in my toolbox from IKEA.
Oh, okay, because like the difference between like a full and a queen is only the queen's about 6 inches wider and like 5 inches longer. Like there's not a huge difference between those two.
Really?
And even
Then like what? Then what's
Yeah.
the point?
Well, the little bit of extra length is nice, especially if you're taller.
That's true. That's for sure true. I agree with that, actually.
And we have the dog who likes to jump on the bed, so we were like, can we fit a king size in here? Because it's almost like a foot wider, or even a little bit
wow.
more.
Now, is that like 6 inches on both sides or like a foot on both sides?
No, it's 16 inches wider, so it'd be about 8 inches wider on either side.
Damn.
But then that doesn't quite fit into the bedroom space that we have.
No, that's like your whole bedroom.
Pretty much, yeah. It's almost that entire wall. And unless we wanted to like climb over each other to get into bed, it wouldn't fit. Which is why I found out about the California King. It's a little bit slimmer, but slightly longer. But it sounds like it's kind of hard to like find inexpensive sheets and stuff for that size. Not to mention I'd have to
Really?
buy a mattress.
Oh god, buying mattresses. I'm glad I've never had to.
I've never had to either. The one we have now is actually one that Ashley's parents bought for the fifth wheel camper that they had at one point. And
Oh really?
yeah, and they ended up getting rid of it. And she was like, "Do you want this queen size mattress?" Because they had like just bought it a couple years ago. We're like, yeah.
Yeah, give it to me.
'Cause that stuff gets expensive.
Oh, it gets very expensive. Let me finish this story real quick.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I just don't want to like forget the end point. So anyway, I was like fumbling in my head like late at night trying to go to bed, and I was like, oh, king, and then I was like king size, and then it made me think of like when you order stuff too at like a restaurant, you're like, yeah, king size or
Or like a
whatever.
Snickers bar.
Yeah, so then I changed that and just to add more identity, I guess, to the channel because I got a lot of stuff planned, and that's what I was kind of working on prior to actually recording was dabbling in animation. Adobe has their character animator, which is super easy, and it's kind of mind-blowing the technology behind it because in character animator it's set up to mocap you
Oh, really?
your face. Yeah, it's incredible. It's like incredible. When I get it to work, I should send you a video of just me doing something.
And then the side by side mocap.
Yeah, it like mocaps, it'll have like it's like kind of like you're in like a Zoom call, okay? You have like your whole workspace, and then you have like a little camera of you in the top right corner that tracks your whole facial figure, like your nose, your mouth, your eyes, everything. And then in the center is the character that you are working on, and they mirror everything you do when your mouth opens, when you talk. Like you have to register that you're talking for the mic to pick up. The character will lip sync to it, so everything is done for you.
It's
just
amazing.
it blew my mind when I saw the trailer, and it literally I was just like, holy, are you serious? This is like a thing.
Do you remember in high school when we took I don't remember if you took this one with me, but a web design class, and we were using like Adobe Flash to animate things?
No, I don't think I took that one with you.
Okay. Well, it was using Adobe Flash to animate things, and the amount of work you'd have to do to just like create a square and make it move was unreal. And the fact that you can like sit in front of a computer and just have it, mocap you and translate that into natural movements is amazing.
And what's even crazier is I was delving a little deeper into what popular things have utilized this software.
Probably quite a few.
And one of them was the first big one that like pioneered, the growth of the software of the character animator was the I'm gonna mess up his name. I think is Stephen Colbert the guy with black hair and glasses?
Yeah, it's pretty dark hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen Colbert did a whole bit with Cartoon Trump. So live during his show, someone would be in this program doing cartoon Donald Trump live while it was being recorded, the show. And I thought that was like the coolest thing, and so I like looked into it a little bit, and what I've been doing is I watched probably like two or three tutorials, and then it wasn't really helping me, so I downloaded this guy's PSD because you can create the puppet in Photoshop. So what also blew my mind was I don't know if you remember, but I had this whole like writing site where I would just dump different like short stories or like
Yeah.
poetry or what have you on the site, and then for each writing I would draw a character.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you can essentially, what I drew in Photoshop, I can just
Drop
animate
it in and animate it.
and you have to kind of like separate everything into folders, like the eyes, you know, like pupil has to have its own layer in its own folder, like the iris has to have its, you know, things like that.
Right,
for
the different body
different animations.
parts can have their different layers. And
But this guy supplied this blank PSD. It's titled blank because it's just this blank character that has all the necessary parts that you need, and all you do is just
draw
replace
in.
the layer for. And so I was working on that because I just was going to do a test run of this one poem I wrote a while ago. It's actually when you first moved, and it's about this robot who just feels like stuck in his place, because at the time I felt stuck in life and blah blah blah. And I was just gonna like record myself reading the poem, so this robot recorded it, and then kind of just throw it up and see how it looked, because originally I am making this show called Dewey for work. It's actual work, and it's about me in this cartoon that I drew. Their name is Dewey. They're gender neutral. And it's basically like Blue's Clues, but, you know, with me and then this character. And that's just kind of what I've been working on the past week, is like trying to get that to work so then I can make
the animations based off of that.
this show. And I think it's gonna turn, because I storyboarded and then like did the script, and I'm like, this is gonna be a lot of work doing this whole like live action thing and doing this animated character in the same scenes. You know, it's just gonna be a bitch. It's gonna be a huge pain. And what I decided on was, you remember in middle school when we had like Channel 1 news at the end of the day? I thought of that, but for toddlers or preschoolers. So Dewey's going to be the news anchor, and I'm going to be the field reporter doing, you know, little bits.
I like it.
And it's just an easier format, because all Dewey is just going to be like chest up shot. So, you know, torso up. So it's going to be easy to animate, easy to work on. And then I can cut between footage of like
Yourself.
penguins, for example, you know, or when I want to like show cool things to the children or whoever's watching. So that's kind of what I decided on. Plus, it was less stressful.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to it. I just wanted to this weekend just get to just get it to work, because I was going to do it this week, but on Wednesday I got an email saying that if we don't get approved for a loan at work or grant, that I would have to go on unemployment. And so I was like, I'm feeling kind of down. I don't want to do any work right now. But we got approved for the grant, so I'm getting paid. Yeah, I'm getting paid through the next like 8 weeks.
And is that one of those, I don't know if you know for sure, like one of those small business forgivable grants that they're providing as part of the stimulus?
I don't know. I want to assume so.
That's what I would think too, but I wasn't sure.
But I'm not sure. It was just we got news that we were approved on Thursday. We got sent out like there was a mass email and text, and then we had our Friday meeting yesterday, and boss kind of like broke it all down. So that was nice to know that. And it also, so in the way it was said, it sounds like I'm just going to be doing this through June at least, which is nuts.
I know. It sounds like June at the earliest is what it sounds like we're going to be slowly reopening things.
Which kind of sucks, because I have my vacation in June, and I don't want my vacation to be here. Let me tell you that right now. I do not want to be here for vacation, because I think today I'm slowly going nuts. I've acknowledged. I'm just like, it was. For those of you who don't know, Joshua got a new job, and we are going to talk about that, Joshua. This is
Okay.
not about me, this podcast. Don't worry.
I wasn't worried.
Prior to Joshua getting this job, we would have sessions where I would be able to like talk to him and like, game and stuff throughout the week. This whole week, it's just literally been Sarah and I. It has literally just been Sarah and I. And we had one day where we played games with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I have just been talking to Sarah.
And it's
And I love Sarah, but I can't. I need other interaction. Like it's crazy. You think you don't need it, and then
once you're without it,
yeah, once you think about it, and that you're just like, oh my God, like it's just.
Even if it's just for like an hour or two a week, you need to socialize and interact with somebody.
Right, and that's why I've locked myself in our bedroom. I was just like, I need to not be out and about. Anyway, though, Joshua, first, congrats again on the new job.
Oh, thank you.
Tell the viewers what you can or what you're allowed to. I don't really know the stipulation, but how what your job is. New job is, and I guess the first week, how'd it go?
Yeah. So, basically, we're in first of all a 6-week training period. And every time I talk to somebody, it gets longer. At first, it was like, it'll be like a 3 or 4 week training period. And then we get there the first day, and it's like, it'll be like 4 or 5. And then at the end of this week, it's like, it's a 6-week training period. I'm like, oh, jeez. So essentially what we're providing is like level 1 help desk support over the phone for a couple different agencies of the government. And so it's simple things like password resets and solving simple problems in different programs that they have for them. And the training is a very unnecessarily slow process.
Uh-huh.
So they have us 2 weeks in a classroom setting, and first week was a week of that. And the problem with a classroom training for using like a piece of software, like our ticketing system in this example, is we don't have access initially to use it. So instead of practicing to use the software, it's somebody talking at you and telling you this is what it's going to be like.
Oh my God.
And
they
some
don't
people
have like a dummy version of it?
Well, we finally got into it
Okay.
Friday at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
For about an hour.
Wow. Why bother at that point?
Exactly. And I know some people learn all right that way, and there's things I picked up on, but it's a quicker process in my experience to just straight away sit somebody down in front of the program and just walk them through the process of doing something, and that way you can kind of go through and explore and see how it works, what you can and can't do initially. And so we did finally get into that at the end of Friday, but aside from that, it's been a lot of just listening to somebody talk over a PowerPoint. And
oh God, that drives me nuts.
Right. And because of all the social distancing policies, our group is actually split up into 2 separate rooms in order to maintain that distance and have computers in the space.
Uh-huh.
And then our instructor is most of the time in a 3rd room talking to us over Microsoft Teams.
Oh.
And we're all sitting here thinking to ourselves, why do we have to show up to work when we're going to be doing all of our communication over Teams anyway?
Uh-huh.
Why can't this be done remotely?
Yeah. Have you like talked to whoever's with you about that? Like the other classmates?
We've discussed it a little bit, and
classmates.
Well, kind of coworkers.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different too, because there is the company we're working for that is providing the service to the government, and then about half of us are working under basically a subcontractor who's helping them fill these positions. And different rules apply to the different groups.
of course.
because government.
Yeah.
And so we've discussed it with the people on our end as like subcontractors, and we might make remote work eventually possible since everything's done over the phone remotely anyway. But we don't really have a time frame, and basically we don't
Uh-huh.
know anything.
Uh-huh.
So there's just a lot of things that are up in the air. And as far as I can tell, they've only recently taken on this subcontractor, so we're not the initial guinea pigs for how to figure out policies and everything, but we're
Yeah, yeah.
definitely still a part of that process.
Oh, wow. So are you so you're in so altogether everyone who is in this training session, there's 3 separate rooms total that are being used. One is your instructor.
Correct.
One is 3 other people, and then one is the 3 other people with you in it. Now, are you separated by from those 3 other people in the same room as you by computers or something, or like computer desks or cubicles or
More or less. It's actually there ended up
holes
being
in the
about
wall?
12 people in the group.
Oh, wow.
So there is one smaller room that has 4 people, and then the other larger room has the other 8. And they've essentially, it's a big open like classroom type room with computers. So they've spaced the computers out, the 6 feet or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they also require when you come in, to answer a quick questionnaire of have you experienced any symptoms or been in contact. They're now requiring face masks, and they do temperature checks at the beginning of the day and again at lunchtime.
Oh, wow. So you have to sit through the whole day wearing a face mask?
They're saying they're requiring it. They haven't required it yet. So
Okay.
for the most part, we've been wearing them when we're not, 6 feet away from people,
Uh-huh.
and then when we leave the classroom or we have to be somewhere a little bit closer, we'll throw them on.
That's so interesting. Just it just makes me think what this all it's just what society is going to be like after this.
I don't know.
I mean, like, it's not going to go away after.
No, no. And part of me is just assuming things are, or people are going to act like it's going back to normal.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think that's in everybody's best interest, and you'll just end up with
Yeah.
a second case of flare-ups.
Yep. Wow. That's so interesting. I'm just picturing everyone in that training group just wearing face masks, and I'm just thinking how miserable that would be.
There,
Uh,
the worst part I think about wearing a face mask is I'm wearing glasses, and the ones they provided don't have the form fitting around the nose.
oh, so it gets foggy.
Right, so you talk or you exhale, and your glasses are constantly foggy.
Oh, it's the worst. And thankfully, Sarah's parents sent us 2 pairs of these ones that this family friend of theirs made, and it has a wire for where the nose is, so it fits around it.
Very
So
nice.
when I go running now, I can see, but still like sitting or running with those on for such a long period it sucks.
It does. It restricts your breathing just enough to make it an extra workout.
Yeah, and then another thing I don't like is at the store when you have the plastic gloves on. They're just it just is weird. It's just weird, and it's hard to get used to.
Is that
But
something they're providing at the stores over there?
no, 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 no.
Just something.
Uh,
I was gonna say
no, the first time we went shopping before it was like the Friday we got dismissed, and like the weekend before the governor issued the lockdown, we went to Meyer, and we were walking in the hair aisle, and they had plastic gloves for dyeing your hair, like
Oh.
bagged like in a pair of 5,
Mm-hmm.
in a package of 5 pairs, and we just quickly snatched one of those because we knew we would need one for
Gotcha.
the future, but we couldn't find any more when we went on Monday, unfortunately.
I don't know if you can You might be able to order them online, but nitrile gloves are a lot more comfortable.
What one are those?
They're kind of like a latex glove,
Uh-huh.
but they're made of uh, another material for people who are latex allergic, and in general, they seem to be a little bit more durable.
Oh, okay. I'd have to
And I have like the ones I have in the garage for working on cars. They're like a really thick version of that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we are out of pairs, so we're gonna have to think of something next time we have to go to the store. But because I just don't want to.
You don't want to
I don't
touch
know.
it all.
Yeah, like it's just upsetting because um, I'm just thinking about like, okay, for example, like if I do go to my vacation in June, it's in the UP, okay, and we walk around downtown Marquette because it's a cool place to walk around. So you want to go to the shops, you want to go to the breweries and that. But what's it gonna be like now? You know, am I gonna be wearing a face mask the whole time? Am I gonna be wearing, mittens or whatever the whole
Mittens. I'm
time?
just imagining you in like big baking mitts,
Just like,
oven
don't
mitts.
touch me. Give me my beer. Don't touch me. Uh,
No,
I don't
yeah,
know.
right, maybe. And then it's are breweries even going to be open in June?
Right? That's the other thing is, are they even gonna be open? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It really sucks. It really does. But anyway, are you enjoying your job? Are you enjoying it so far?
It's all
Is
right.
it is it stimulating
Well,
in
so
all the
far
good
we're in
ways?
the so far we're in the training process, so it's hard to put the finger quite on if it's going to be that sort of match. Uh, I don't know. I don't at this point. I don't feel like I want it to be a long term thing. I'm not super psyched,
I respect that.
but it pays well. It gets a good reference and work history for it.
And it's a step up, you know.
Right. It's generally a step up from what I was. So,
Well, congrats again because you worked really hard for it. So
well, thank you.
it's cool to see that show off.
I
No,
actually
but I.
one of the
Oh,
guys in
sorry.
my that's right. One of the guys in my group is actually a student at Ferris here. I found out.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
obviously their classes are remote right now, so
No.
he's not up in the area. But we got to chit chatting a little bit, and it sounds like he even like DMs a little bit, and
Oh, that's
generally
cool.
kind of a cool guy. So
Oh,
most of my
similar
group is
interests.
good. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice having finding coworkers to click with for sure that
Yes.
have similar interests. Um, I don't think I have any coworkers that have similar interests, to be honest with you.
And you know what? That's I
That's
don't know if
fine.
I'd say I'd
It,
prefer that, but it's
I kind of
definitely still a good thing because you get to interact a little bit with people who you wouldn't otherwise,
right,
and you're not just hanging out with the same person all the time, in and out
right,
of work. So, yeah, I
right.
certainly don't mind it either.
I mean, I'm like thinking about it, and like I don't mind it that much too because it lets you be um kind of like who you want to be, you know. That was another reason why I moved was I could have like a fresh start, like leave all that like shit in Big
A
Rapids.
little bit of a
Just
mental
like,
reset.
yeah, just like, because I remember like prior to moving, I just wanted to be, I like changed so much to like what I was to other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you sit down with certain people and you maybe this isn't quite
They,
what you're saying, but you adjust to find approval or not necessarily approval, but similarities to the group or the people you're around.
kind of like, okay, so loose example, this is very general. So let's say someone you grew up with someone like in your like you went to college with someone, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you were, in this phase of doing, parties, college stuff or whatever. After college, you still hung out with like that same friend, but you changed, and so as in like mentally you grew, um, you found a new viewpoint on life. You're trying to be different, trying to change your personality, removing negative things from your life. But like that same friend is still there. This is not. I'm not referring to you, by the way,
I wasn't concerned
or
about
to
that.
anyone. I was like talking to him like, I hope this isn't taken the wrong way by anyone. But they still have that vision or impression of you in their mind as that person from college. Like they won't, like they can change, but their viewpoint of you won't change, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're with them, you're always still stuck.
In that mentality together of,
Yeah, or you get frustrated because you want to break out from it. That was happening a lot to me in Big Rapids. I grew so much,
but
I was
people still have this
restricted.
impression of you
Yeah,
when you were
and
younger.
yep, and I was restricted by my environment, and even like not even when I was younger, but like just like a few years back,
Right. No, I didn't mean like when you were a kid. I meant, yeah, like you said, in
Yeah.
college.
And it was just like driving me up a wall. And then so like moving here, oh, my voice cracked. I haven't talked in a while. Uh, moving here and then meeting, like working with this group of people who, have no record of me prior to
And you get to kind of present your best self as as you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been really nice. There's been some moments where it's just like it's like weird. I don't know, it's whatever. But yeah. I don't even know how I got started on that tangent.
I'm not sure either.
Have you been playing any games, Joshua? Oh, anything you want to finish on your new job? I didn't mean to kind of shoehorn.
No, that's
that.
right. I don't think so. Like I said, early days into that. But no, I haven't been playing a lot of games just because
How's the drive been?
the drive's not too bad. Obviously, it's a bit of a drive, but I haven't been like, oh my god, I'm driving. I hate this.
Uh-huh. Do you listen to music or?
At the moment, just kind of listening to music. I've toyed with the idea of either getting like audiobooks of some books that I maybe wouldn't otherwise read.
That's a good idea.
But I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I've just been kind of listening to music, and it's a good hour trip either way.
Uh-huh.
But it's not nearly that bad, and traffic's obviously been non-existent right now, so that's made it really nice.
So where, I guess, is this, how into Grand Rapids is this building? I know you said it was more on the outskirts, but
Well, not really. It's in the East Grand
Really?
Rapids area. It's a couple blocks behind East Beltline.
oh wow, how was the first day? Were you pretty nervous? I know you mentioned you were, but like how nervous? Give me the deets.
There's not really much deets to it. It's not like a debilitating nervousness. It's just, well, at first they asked me to show up at like 8:15 or 8:30, and I'm like, cool, I'm here. There's nobody here. Didn't end up starting till 9, so I'm like, great. I guess at least I'm early. That's fine.
Right.
And so just kind of the first day is always a little nervous. You don't know anybody there. Just meeting the people you work with, and that's always a nervous thing for me is meeting an all new group of people.
Oh yeah, I can.
If I'm around somebody
Definitely
like I
relate.
already know and like I'm meeting some new people, that's usually not as big of a deal. But being dropped into a new environment with new people, just little on edge, a little bit more reserved, less talkative,
Oh
which
yeah.
is never
No,
helpful in that situation.
Right. No, it's so. I don't mean to keep coming back to myself, but we both started new jobs basically like within the same year. I mean, mine was like
Within,
at
like,
the beginning of December.
6 months.
Yeah. So I'm just getting flashbacks to when I started. That's why I was like texting you like at the beginning of the week, like, you got this, or whatever,
and I
because
appreciate it. And that's kind of a thing that I have to like think through myself. It's like this is stressful. Yep. But this is how new jobs go.
yep,
A month into this, you'll be chill with everybody. It'll be, just kind of normal run of the mill. Just got to get through that phase.
right. And I just remember oh my God, I'm having like some serious flashbacks right now. So first flashback is I remember last July when Sarah and I were here for my birthday and we were walking downtown, and I said, you know what's gonna suck about moving here? And she's like, what? And I said, starting new jobs. That whole process of starting a new job,
It's rough.
It is like getting used to getting assimilated with the coworkers who already know each other, who already have their own like thing, getting into that, knowing the clientele or whoever you're working for, or doing the service for, I should say. Sorry. I just remember just like that's gonna suck. And then like fast forward December, it was on that Friday. I think it was a Friday. Sarah wasn't able to come down with me to help me finish moving stuff into the apartment. She had to do final stuff, and she had to work on she worked on the school newspaper, so she had to be available, especially because she was like the layout or graphics editor or whatever. She, fairly important job there. And so I was moving by myself. My parents were helping me, but it was like me by myself for like the first like 2 weeks.
Right.
And we drove to my grandparents. Well, grandpa, grandma died. Grandpa's house. And we packed all the stuff in it was Grace, my dad, and my mom. I had my car at the time. My dad was towing this trailer, this U-Haul with all my other stuff. Drive down to my grandpa's, and we're watching, the Big Ten championship because football was going on. And I'm like, oh yeah, I get to like, when you have that moment when something like that you're not looking forward to like the next day, but you're doing something that takes up a time commitment. So you're like, I have to get, I have all this time prior. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I got all this time or whatever before I have to move. And then like that Sunday comes and we move. We're driving from Carson all the way to Ann Arbor, and we unpack everything. Parents leave. I have to go shopping for the first time, so I like walk to Aldi. I get like the necessities or whatever. I went to go like watch my favorite movie to help just like, calm yourself, kind of extend that time period of because once you go to sleep and wake up, you got to go to your job, so you're trying to extend that period of you being conscious to not, to quote unquote postpone. And so I was like trying to find my favorite movie, but in order to play Blu-rays through the PS4, you have to be connected to internet, and I had none of that set up. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should just watch something on my phone. So I watched something on my phone for a while, threw up the air mattress, fell asleep, woke up, and then had to go to my job the next day. Oh my God, I do not miss that. Oh my God, I hate that feeling of just, I have no idea what I'm walking into, It's completely new environment, new city, new set of people, new job that I had no experience in. I don't miss that. So that's why I was just like trying to buff you up. I'm like, dude, like it fucking sucks, but you got it, because it's awful. Like it's awful. So if you're starting a new job, whenever you're listening to this, it's awful. It sucks, but you're gonna get through it. It's gonna happen once like the first, like I would say like week, 2 weeks happen. You're starting to get comfortable, but after that first month, like you said, Joshua, then
you're in
then
the
you kind of
rhythm.
hit you got your groove. And that seems like a long time. Excuse me, a long time.
It does, especially when it's like day by day of
yeah, but no, just do the best that you can, and they hired you for a reason. So no, oh man, I don't miss that. Anyway, what else have you been doing outside of your new job, Joshua?
That's pretty much been it. So I have been off like the last 6 weeks, so I've been adjusting to the schedule of getting up at 6 every morning. And
I'm sorry.
right? And it's not been terribly bad, but there are days where I'm just tired. And like on the I think it was the second day, I like stressed myself into a stress migraine.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was like dealing with that at the end of the second day and like into the beginning of the next day, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just tired and I want to go home and sleep. So that's basically what I did. So aside from that, haven't been doing too much. Today's a really nice day though, so the plan is to kind of go outside and finish raking up some of the pine needles and leaves in the yard.
That'll be really nice. That'll be really relaxing.
Oh yeah, for the most part. The dog likes to dig, but yeah. Aside from that, it'll be relaxing.
Oh yeah, just shove him in the hole he digs. He'd like it.
He would so like that, but then there's a giant hole, and I go to mow the lawn, and it's a whole thing.
Oh, I don't have to worry about lawn care.
See, that's the one thing I don't like about having not so much a lawn, but a larger area of lawn.
Just keeping up with it.
Right, just the upkeep. I'd rather have like a lawnable size of like a in-town house, but I also don't want to be right up next to somebody. So it's one or the other.
When I know what you're talking about, because when I stayed at the Buckinghams last summer, their house and yard size is like my ideal size, because I was there just to watch their dogs, well, their dog and their two cats, and I was like, yeah, do you want me to like
maintain
I like
lawn?
doing physical labor when it's something I am working to like
improve. And
yeah, or if it's like my lawn, or if it's like my responsibility, I like doing it. Does that make sense? Like, because when you're as a kid and you're forced to do the lawn, you don't want to, because you don't want to do it. It's not your lawn.
No,
it's not your
as an adult, there's a pride in that maintaining
and I wanted to like do all this stuff around the house for them, so when they came home, all they had to do was just unpack and like detox. Because they were coming back from like Switzerland or something for like 10 days. And God, I loved that. Those 10 days were just so fun, because I had like the whole house to myself, and all I did was just like worked on stuff, and then like did like a ton of yard work. Like I mowed their lawn like twice. I raked it. I don't. What else did I do? I don't even remember. But it was just like, it was so fun. But they had a perfect lawn size. I don't even know like the square footage in said lawn, but it was perfect.
I'd be okay with my lawn if it was like just the back portion and that little bit up front by the front door. But there's all of that like up towards the road.
Yeah,
and
you got all that. That's because you're like so far back too, so you couldn't,
and I'm just
custom make your backyard. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, do I let everything up by the road just go?
Oh, and become giant weeds.
Yeah,
it might look weird. I don't know.
Right. So it might look. That's the other thing. It's like, well, it doesn't look the greatest, but
I mean,
it's my yard.
Yeah, it's your yard. Do what you want. That's what I say. Like, God, I'm glad I don't have to do it, because it'd just be like another thing to do right now.
Right.
But I would also like to have it, because then I would
have that to do.
Yeah, get out more,
At this point, I'm going to have to, when this lockdown is over, buy a riding lawnmower.
Oh, you're going to get 0G?
Probably not, because those are expensive.
I just want you to know, if you got the 0G lawnmower, I would come over to mow your lawn.
I don't
could
think
ride.
you're gonna drive that long just to mow my lawn.
Well, I like if I was up to visit and you hadn't.
Okay.
And I came over and I'm like, "What's up? I'm back from the south."
All right. Well, let's see
And
how expensive they are. 0-turn mowers.
they are so fun to use.
I don't think I've ever used one.
When I used to work at,
Ooh. Yeah, no, that's not
We're s-
happening.
how much are they?
They're like, well, let me make sure there's not anything cheaper. No, I mean I could probably find a used one reasonably, but it looks like they basically start at $2,500 and go up.
Oh wow. Yeah, Chris had one for recycle, and
Right.
I always got dibs on that
Oh yeah.
because it was a nice break from Holland cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, those are so fun.
Right? No, I just like a plain old non-zero turn is like half the price at like $1,300.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm glad. See, that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to owning a house. Is dealing with all that house stuff.
I guess, but if you've got a smaller yard, like a push mower, I spent like $120 on mine,
That's true.
and then like $80 I think on a weed trimmer, and that's what I've been using. But having a rider would make it much more manageable.
And then you could have a cup holder to drink beer.
That's right.
Damn straight. Any games though? Did you mention? I don't remember. You said no.
No, yeah,
right.
I've pretty much been a no on the game. Although Ashley, it was last time we were playing Grand Theft Auto. Ashley was like, well, I've played Saints Row. That looks like kind of fun. And so she literally just today was like, I'm just gonna buy Grand Theft Auto 5.
So, the self-acclaimed feminist bought Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, I know. It's.
Are you saying? I hope you tell her this, that the one that anything I say about women as a joke, she goes on a tangent about, bought Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes.
Okay.
You can let her know that when you reply to her text if you haven't already.
Oh, did she send me a text?
Yeah, I'm my guess. I literally said to her, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he probably looked at it and then forgot about it.
Did she even? I've been in such.
I'm pretty sure she said she sent it to you yesterday.
We're gonna do this live on the site.
It's live.
Oh, another thing what I forgot to mention when I changed the title of my channel is, so the production, quote unquote, company's name is King Size, but like the different
Sub brands.
are, so like Pillow Talk is still there, but it's like the Let's Play.
Right,
The
it's
Let's
under
Plays
the Pillow Talk brand.
Because I put
the
so
King
much
Size brand.
effort into. Oh, she did text me this. I apologize, Ashley. I was. So.
Oh, don't worry. She was like, hey, I texted him and I didn't want to like keep bugging him with text. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll yell at him for you. And she's like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna yell at him. I'm gonna make him feel bad.
So Abe mentioned that he wanted to start a campaign, okay? A D&D campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, I love D&D. I love the whole role-playing thing of it, but if it doesn't happen or if it doesn't go,
You're totally fine with that.
I'm totally fine with that. And when Abe mentioned he wanted to do a D&D thing, I mentioned, okay, if you're asking me, I should ask someone who actually wants to do it.
Right.
And so I was like, can Ashley be a part of this? Like what do I have to do to get Ashley to be a part of this? And he's like, okay, that's fine. Like he asked like his friends if it was okay, like the other part of my old D&D group.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, no, it's totally fine if she comes. So then I'm like, awesome. Ashley, yo, D&D group. And she got, of course, super fucking excited. And I feel bad because as of right now, I am like, what's the proper word? Not the middleman, but not the buffer, because buffer adds negative connotation. I am like the,
I know what you're getting for. I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
word quite is for it either,
Yeah.
but you're
Like I'm the middle dude right now.
right. You're kind of facilitating this transaction of her getting
Yes.
into a group.
And so she's like, oh, I bumped the mic. She is like, she's sending me like, oh, I'm gonna be this class, I'm gonna be that class, and I like am not that passionate enough to like go on and talk to her about it
Mm-hmm.
for how long she wants to, and I feel awful. I feel awful about this. It might not seem like it, Ashley, if you're listening. I don't feel awful. I was raised Catholic and I'm Irish. I got guilt up the butt. I feel awful
all
about
you
it.
come with.
And that's why I try to at least, like, when I text her back or text you back, Ashley, I try to have some sort of girth to my text.
You don't want to just reply, lol.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I did a couple times. I'm like, no, I'm not a dick. I'm like a nice guy. And so like I try really hard, Ashley, and I am sorry. I still haven't dug up my player handbook to like, all I know is like, if when they say show up, I'm just gonna be like, I want to be a rogue and I want to stab stuff. That's all I want to do right now. Like,
No, I get that. Sometimes people want to, like really get an in-depth subject and talk, and sometimes it's just you're just not there, and it's like, I'm sorry, but
and I feel awful about it. And I totally forgot that she texted me.
I called it.
I totally forgot. I will be replying to it after this podcast. Oh my God. How many texts do you think I've forgotten about right now since yesterday?
Just 2 or 3. But it's
3.
It's 3. I was gonna say it's not an uncommon thing for you. Like I'll text you something and I won't get a reply, and I'll mention it later, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you sent that to me."
Yeah, it's not. I'm not ignoring. I'm not like straight up. For people who are not Joshua and who have not known me as long as Joshua has, when I find something that I want to do, I become very focused on that, and I have been doing that lately the past like 2 weeks. So just FYI, that I've just for whoever's listening, my mom, Katie, and Ashley, that's what's going on. Is I have been
focused in on that, and everything else just kind of not intentionally, but takes a back seat as your focus is on that.
No, and I'm not ignoring. It's just, God, it's such a common thing. I can't. It happened when Sarah and I were not living with each other too.
Mm-hmm.
Is she would mention, she's like, "Yeah, are you ignoring me?" And I'm like, "What? No,
I'm just
no,
like
I'm
working
not."
on this thing, and
then I'm like, "Oh, I guess I could be considered ignoring you, but I'm not."
right. That's not the intention.
No, I'm sorry, Ashley. I really am. I really am. No, I was. Oh, what was I gonna say? So it's been confirmed. I burnt myself out on Bloodborne earlier this week.
I feel that. I haven't touched it in a while, and I'm all right with that.
I was going for the platinum.
Okay.
And I got to, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn, and you can toot your own horn too, Joshua, because I think you have the right as well. Is I've gotten pretty good at the game, like in terms of not not being like an awesome like PvP or speedrunner,
but just not constantly dying.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at the game. And so I sped through the game like none other, and I got to Castle Canehurst. And I could have just like ran past, those tick enemies,
Yep.
those mosquito dudes. But I wanted to fight one, for the first time, because I have a set rule of I have to kill everything once, and then I'm
After
allowed
that, I
to
can run past it.
speed. It's just a pride thing, and I feel like that's what From Software wants you to do.
Well, and the game isn't nearly as fun if you go in and you're like, I'm just gonna run past all the enemies
Sprint.
and do
Exactly.
the bosses.
Yeah,
Then you're just
exactly.
speed running, in which case, go for it. But
Yeah. And so I was doing that and I lost to the tick, you know.
those things are rough whenever you first get there.
Oh, for sure. And I went to the same spot and it's the very first one that pops out.
By the fountain there.
And yeah, and I didn't it didn't take my my blood, whatever they're called,
Blood echoes.
blood echoes. It didn't take my blood echoes. It just left them on the ground. So I'm like, okay, I picked it up, and then it popped up, and I could have just ran by it, but I'm like, I want to kill it, because again, I got to kill it once, and then I can do whatever I want. But then I like kept dying, and then I was just getting. I think when this happened, I wasn't in the best mindset earlier this week. I think this was after I found out that I might have to be going unemployed.
Right.
I think it was Wednesday, and so I was just like, I just reverted to being stubborn, and I was just like, I'm gonna just kill you, and I kept dying. I like once you like hit a mental block, you just become stupid, and you can't.
You can't fight it. You just
Yeah.
you do the same thing over and over again. You're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, and so I just was like, okay, I'm done playing or whatever. And then Thursday comes around and I had to record. And so I currently doing Bloodborne and I'm starting the DLC, and like the spike in difficulty in general from base game to DLC is insane, but on New Game Plus, from base game New Game Plus to New Game Plus DLC, it's exponential. Like the growth is like fucking Apple stock. It's like through the fucking roof. It's ridiculous how hard it is. Like I have beaten everything in the base game. I just have to beat, well, Gurnam or whatever his name is. Gehrman. Spoiler alert. Gehrman and then the Moon Presence. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to beat. And then I'm done with the game. Like I could have been done with the game on Thursday, but I want
to do the DLC.
All the DLC. Yeah. And it's just exponential how fucking hard it is. Like it's ridiculous how much harder it is. Especially when you have to fight all those hunters in a row. And then you get to it was the Boomhammer Hunter.
He is probably the worst one in there.
He broke me. Like I broke recording. Like I even added it in the clip that's going up for the episode tomorrow. It was kind of cool how I did it because it was the episode that went up tomorrow is still an episode from my recording session from 2 weeks. Oh, this is weird. This is going to be like next Friday. So this episode's been up for a while. But it was recording session from 2 weeks from this recording date of this podcast. So it was like two weeks ago, and I was fighting Mikolash, and I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, bedbugs, I am so close to beating this game. I could beat it right now, but I want to do the DLC, blah, blah, blah. Then I mentioned the DLC is incredibly hard, and then I was able to cut to the footage that I recorded 2 weeks later of me in the DLC of me breaking like down from how hard the game is. So it like cuts to that clip all black and white and me just like distant, like in the distance. I made my voice seem like it's like echoing because it's like flashback. Mm-hmm. Just like all my dialogue for that small clip, and it was perfect. Like it was something I wouldn't have been able to do if like I wouldn't have had recorded,
ahead.
And I started doing Pillow Talk episodes every other day because of how much time each day I was putting into Pillow Talk, and how much of that time I could have been putting into my actual job. Mm-hmm. So like since the episodes were spaced out, I was able to edit, and it worked out. It's pretty funny, and it made me laugh when I thought, I was like, oh, this is kind of genius. Outside of that, I wanted to play, because you and we have the bad habits of playing the same games. Me even more so. We play very similar games. I think we usually, if we're playing a game, it's usually the same game at the same time.
Usually.
Kind of, outside of like if I wanted to play like Mass Effect or you wanted to experiment with a different game. Usually it's like we stick to the same like genre of games, or like same game, like we'll replay like we'll, for example, like you'll play Elder Scrolls Online or whatever, and I'll like replay Bloodborne for the bajillion fucking, things like
You're
that.
right.
We do that a lot, and I have all these games I've accumulated, and you hear about, all these games like that are on the greatest list of games of all time or what have you. And so I decided to dip my toe into that, and because Resident Evil 3 came out and I watched someone play a little bit of it on the YouTubes,
Mm-hmm.
I got really interested in it, especially with the whole like story and theme surrounding it, especially when we're in the middle of a pandemic and the Resident Evil, the first couple games are about this giant virus outbreak in a city,
Right.
So I decided, because on the PlayStation right now, Sony is doing the Big in Japan sale. The first Resident Evil, the remake of the first one, was $5.
Oh, that's nice.
And I decided to pick it up. And let me tell you, this game is it's incredible. It's so good. The first Resident Evil. This is the only I've played, like the first 20 minutes of 4. I've played probably a couple hours of 5. I played like the first hour of 6, and I played all of 7. So I haven't really like delved into Resident Evil as like delving into a new series kind of thing. It's always just been like as a viewer, because usually when I've like played those Resident Evil games, it's usually been someone else has been playing it, or I've been playing with them together, And Resident Evil 1 it's incredible. Like, it's such a good game. It's like what I needed right at this point in time to revitalize my love for games and not just burning myself out on Bloodborne over and over again. It's incredible. Right, the first Resident Evil. I highly recommend, if you're looking for a new game to play, anyone to test it out, to try it out. It's a bit different at first with the whole camera, because all you do is you just control the character. You don't control the camera.
Right, kind of like
Angle,
the
it
old 3D. Even like some of the old Zeldas are like that, and Final Fantasies.
Yeah. So how this one is done though is it's not like you literally have no control over the camera. So what it is when you're watching someone from security footage,
Right, and you just have to like cut from a camera to camera to track.
that's what it is. It just cuts from camera to camera automatically.
Yep.
So you're just controlling the camera, the character, while you're walking through like this mansion this whole time. So it's just cutting to these different views. You have no control over it. So it makes you, it has this, it was designed to make you feel like you are distant from what's going on, so you don't have total control.
Oh.
To add that fear, like, of, oh my God, because you can't, they have like, they call them tank controls, because it's supposed to add tension in the gameplay when you see zombies. The camera angles add a sense of confusion because you can't control what you're seeing. It's all done by
Right, so
and designed
there's that
by
extra struggle to quickly take them out and add to the panic.
Yeah. And I haven't beaten it yet, but and it's also a game I haven't seen someone, I've seen someone play this game before, but it's been a while, so I don't remember anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm able to just discover this whole new game by myself. It's like playing a game for the first time, and you've like known of the game up to that point is just a title or whatever from mouth of
word of mouth and
word of mouth. Wow.
And not being able to like watch anything beforehand, kind of like picking up a game as when we were kids.
Yes, and it has, and it's just, I love this game, and I see why people absolutely love it. It's so good. And Jill Valentine, I know you're not real, but I want you to know that I love you. I love you so much. What else was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to talk about... No, do you have any other thoughts, Joshua?
I do not. I was just going to ask if you had looked into Final Fantasy Online anymore.
Oh, I wanted to an update for Joshua and for Joshua in general. This is all for Joshua actually. So if you're listening to this, I want you to stop,
And skip
pause, and skip ahead at least 3 minutes. I downloaded a game yesterday. Would you like to do 20 questions to find out what game it is?
ahead. Okay.
I want to do 20 questions.
All right, we're going to do 20 questions. Is it an RPG?
Yes.
Is it an MMO?
Yes.
Is it a Blizzard game?
No.
Is it a Bethesda game?
Yes.
Is it Elder Scrolls Online?
No. Yes, it is. I downloaded Elder Scrolls Online because, one, I was sick of playing Bloodborne. I love that game, but I was sick of it. And I wanted to do something new. I also didn't want to spend much money.
I feel you.
But I saw that the new expansion is coming out like this month. It is May now. This month.
Oh, it is?
And I really just wanted to continue, the whole, when you're just really jonesing for a fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. You're just jonesing for a fantasy game.
Yeah. You know how you're just really jonesing for one?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was really jonesing for a fantasy game, and I didn't want to resume playing Divinity because I wanted to kind of beat that as a group because I think that'd be really cool.
That's where I'm at with that game too.
As much as I want to like keep playing it, but I think it'd just be really cool to finish it as a group. Side of that, I thought of like Elder Scrolls Online, kind of tossing back and forth, especially when I saw that Final Fantasy Online was on sale at that time. I mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
And I looked into it because people they're talking about how great and fantastic it is. I also apologize, Joshua, if I'm talking through you because on my end you're cutting out.
Oh, no, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, good. So I mentioned that in case someone was listening and they're like, why is he just talking through?
What a jerk.
Yeah, I know. So I was looking at the Final Fantasy thing and watching videos and reviews because I didn't want to because for me, when I play an MMO, I'll commit to it for a month, like at least a month. It's kind of like my threshold. If I go past that, that means I'll probably be addicted to it and play it for a while. And before I made that commitment, I wanted to see if that game was good. I usually don't look up reviews, but for MMOs, it's different because I really want to get into MMOs. But if they all use the same like click and attack shit like WoW does,
It's an out for you.
Immediately it's out. It is not dynamic enough for me.
Okay, if you
It's
need to go to
not.
your Twitter description and put in dynamic in there somewhere.
I should just my title like a dynamic man. And I was watching stuff for Final Fantasy and people are, talking like quests are great, blah, 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 all this stuff is great. But like the gameplay is still like that point and clicks like stuff. Yeah, that's what I don't know if you can change it or anything, but that's what it looks like. Is it's just like point and click.
Well, and that's kind of most of the MMOs, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and that just really made me disappointed because I really wanted to get into an MMO and then like get other people into it, but help be like the shepherd of the flock. Be like, look at all this you can do with it, because that's usually you in MMOs. Whenever we do MMOs, you've already like
I've played
gotten that next level. Yeah. And so I'm always kind of like following you around or like, I'm like, let's just do this and then you protect me, kind of thing. I wanted to be like the one that was like the awesome anime character where everyone could, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like that feeling. And when I saw that Final Fantasy was just like point and click and no reaction, there's no dodging or whatever, I'm just like, fuck that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend the $20 on it and commit how much time to it and
Just kind
just
of be passively playing a game.
be unhappy. So I like I thought of ESO and I'm like, do I want to tell Joshua? I re-downloaded it
Probably
because
not.
did you say probably not?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I wanted to start over as a rogue character and get back up to current level, but then I like thought about like, do I want to like redo all that work, and so I'm like, I haven't played it yet, so but I re-downloaded it, so I'm like in that like should I phase.
It's there waiting for you in case you decide you want to take the plunge.
Yeah. But I ended up re-downloading that because the best MMO I have played out of the probably 7 that I've tried has been ESO. It's hands down the best MMO I have played personally that I've had the most fun with.
I think I would agree with you too. And that probably is in part due to getting you and Ashley to play it for a little bit as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But it's unlike most MMOs where you're pointing and clicking, but you still get all the good fun stuff of this massive world and interacting with even other players sometimes.
Oh yeah, and the combat is totally
It's very good.
It's so good. There's blocking, there's reaction time, and that's what I want is, and you can blame FromSoft for doing this.
And there's even dodge
I
rolling.
Need to be able I know. I need to be able to roll and dodge in a game that has combat like this. And Elder Scroll and ESO did that, and they've done it really well. And I also just realized that I bought the latest expansion because it was super cheap.
Yeah, you bought Elsewhere, never played it.
Yeah, and see, because now the what's the word? Is it masochist?
Yes, that's what you are.
The masochist in me wants to beat the whole game before the new expansion comes out, and
Don't you?
I know
No, don't do it.
That's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me because I want to complete everything. See, that's what's stopping me. Is I want to be able to experience all those, like the whole game, and like get connected with the world prior to this new expansion. Because I've never. I think you have. Yeah, you have with WoW, where
with WoW, and I did it with Elsewhere too.
Is you were like getting hyped for an expansion. Like I've never had that.
Playing it as
like
it comes out.
Yeah.
And the fun thing about the way these expansions come out is they're like a staged release in the story. And so you'll get...
Oh, like throughout the whole year or whatever?
Yeah, throughout like
the
the
year of the
3 years.
dragon?
Yeah, exactly. So throughout that year, they would, with the expansion, you'd get some initial story for a few hours and some cool features of that. And then, a month or 2 down the road, the new part of the story would reveal itself. And that's the really fun part of that for me, is just being able to live in the story's creation.
Oh, and see, and that's just so cool that they're doing that. They're willing to have the patience to keep a single story going for a year, and like keeping all that content that they're getting updated with. I want to commit to it so bad. I really do. But then I want to like work on my stuff, and I want to play like Resident Evil.
And there's just not enough time in the day for all of it.
And there's not, and I have been, and you'll be proud of me, Joshua, I've been really good with keeping a consistent 8-hour sleep schedule.
Really?
I've been.
Is that like the first time in literally forever you've slept for 8 hours?
It started like 2 weeks ago,
wow.
I think. Sarah always goes to bed at like 8:39, and I always stay up later because then it's just like my detox or chill time.
It's your own time.
That was usually when like we would be playing or doing stuff. And I was just finally like, I was at that point at like 11:30 like a couple weeks ago where I'm just like, I'm feeling like I could fall asleep, like I could go to bed and I could relatively be out like within 20 minutes, or I could continue being up and doing whatever, what have you. Because my thing is I can't fall asleep instantly. Like,
Not unless I'm feeling tired.
yeah, and my brain is constantly like thinking and like on the go with like ideas and stuff, and it's really hard to focus. Hence why I personally meditate, and uh, I just always was trying to exhaust my brain to the point where it would just shut down so I can go to bed. That's kind of what started like no sleep thing, and then it got to the point where it's just like I want more time to do stuff. But no, the other like the 2 weeks ago, I'm just like I'll start going to bed at like midnight, and yeah, I've been getting 8 hours of sleep the past. I would say it's been like a week, almost week and a half. I wouldn't say 2 weeks, but yeah, so far it's been a consistent 8 hours.
You're doing better than me. I think I've been like hitting 7 this week just because of my schedule being turned upside down from, not having a
for
schedule,
sure.
but
But you're like always pretty good at it.
I'm a
though.
little too good at it. If I don't set an alarm and I don't have to be up for something, it's very easy for me to wake up after 8 hours and then roll back over and go back to sleep. I got to fight that.
Yeah, I've never had that issue.
It's not a fun issue. I'd rather have your issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything. No. Closing rec. I have a rec, Joshua, so you can think about yours.
Right.
My rec is to watch, and I highly recommend, Joshua, you watch this as well. The Netflix did a 3-episode comedy special. I hope they do more seasons. It's called Middleditch and Schwartz. It's Thomas Middleditch. He's from the Silicon Valley. He's also done other movies. He's been in like the newest Godzilla movie. And then Ben Schwartz, he plays John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. That's his big character. Yep. He was also the voice of Sonic in the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh.
They're both comedians, and they both have extensive years, like 10, 20 years of experience in improv. And so they go on tour and do an improv tour where it's just them two, like hitting wherever doing an improv show where they'll ask the crowd a question like, is there something you're looking forward to or not looking forward to? And someone will say like exams, and then they'll take that, kind of ask a couple more questions to that person about it,
into a bit,
and then do an hour and a half like improv show off of it. And they did that for 3 episodes. And it is the funniest thing I have seen in a very long time.
That does sound like a lot of fun. One of the things I like and dislike about a lot of comedy specials is it's just somebody's tour and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's a stand-up or whatever.
Right. And yeah, it's basically the same exact no matter where they are. So having something that's different improv like that is kind of neat.
It's and like for me, I've always wanted to do improv. I've always liked it. I always thought it was like the coolest thing, being able to be like this funny and this witty, like right off the bat, like just being able to do a show like that for someone. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to do that. And I never got into like whose line is it anyway, but I might now because of this. But no, I was partaking in recreational marijuana, and I was not feeling video games, and I was like, I'll watch Netflix, and I'm like, oh, I saw this was on, watched it, and it's just like I watched it sober with Sarah, and I laughed just as hard. Like, it's watching it again, like it's so good. I highly recommend watching it. It is so funny. Middleditch and Schwartz. It's on Netflix if you have it. They are 2 hilarious guys. It's incredible. I highly recommend watching it. It is very funny.
I might have to watch it. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm dropping a quick music rec. Sorry. I've been listening to an album a day since the pandemic started.
That's a lot of
And
albums.
yeah, I have a list. I highly recommend listening to the album Damn by Kendrick Lamar. It is so good. And I believe it got robbed for a Grammy, and I'm a little upset about that now. I can see why people were upset at the time. It's a great work of art, and just really good music. So Middleditch and Schwartz and Damn by Kendrick Lamar are my recommendations for this week. Go do it. Do you got one, Joshua?
I do actually. So also on the Netflix side of things, Ashley's been watching a TV show, and I think it would have been about, like, she got into the second season and she was watching it, and usually when she's watching something, I'll sit down for a hot moment just to see if it's something interesting.
Right.
Because a lot of times she'll watch things on either end of the spectrum that I either cannot stand to watch or that are really, really good. But this one, I think I've seen like through most of
Can't stand to watch it. Dude, I totally get that now. Keep going.
No, I can't remember which one it is, but there was one she was watching the other day that was like an alternate history reality, something to do with Salem, and like she's watching it, and I sit down for a couple minutes to watch it. I'm like, I can instantly tell this is not something that I would ever spend my time really sitting and watching. I don't remember what it was called. Anyway, so the one that I've been watching with her, we watched like 4 or 5 hours of it last night, is Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience. Is that the one where it's like follows a Korean family in like the convenience store?
Yep. So it's a Canadian sitcom. Like you said, it follows this Korean family. Their parents own this convenience store, and it's just like a semi real but comedy sitcom, and it's been good. It's been funny and
really okay, because I was interested by that because so far it's been 1 for 1, but the Canadian comedies that I've seen have been like spot on. Like Schitt's Creek is a Canadian comedy.
Oh, yep.
And that show is hilarious. That show is so good. So I'm glad that Kim's Convenience is like, I'm glad you said that, because it was one of those things like in the back of my head. I'm like, should I watch it? Because
you should watch it. There is. Go ahead.
I just was going to talk about how, how, and Sarah's the same way, how they'll just like streaming and watching things is like a hobby for them.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
And how it's like not for us.
Right. It's something
like,
we go out of our way to do, where they're doing it all the time, every day.
Yeah. And I just kind of realized that right now that it in itself is a hobby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's wow.
No, there's one character in there. Sorry, I talked over you again.
No. I'm sorry, because again, you're cutting out a little bit on my side, and I think it's on me. So I apologize. I was just going to mention, you know how Ashley always has like stuff on that she's like random like shit she's watching on in the background.
Yep.
Sarah's like that too. And I have just been exposed to so much stuff I've never would have been exposed to otherwise. And it's fascinating how much stuff there is out there in the world, and then how I've never heard of it.
I know there's just an insane amount of content in existence, and not even just content that 5 people watch. Like content that tens, hundreds, millions of people are watching.
Millions. It's insane. But yes, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's right. There was just this one line a character had when we were watching it last night. I can't remember the character's name, but he's friends with the father of the family, and I believe he owns an Indian restaurant, and the convenience store owner's wife walks in, and they quickly try to change the subject, and just the delivery of a line that he had said, it was to the extent of, because they were trying to change the topic to the weather. He goes, "Oh, that weather, it's everywhere." And just the way he delivered it, it was so funny.
So funny. Oh my god. Oh, I love when that happens. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to watch that, or I'm gonna have to start. How long is it?
There's 4 seasons. I don't remember how many
damn.
episodes are in each one, but it's kind of one of those that you could throw on in the background.
Okay. But yes, before we end, the second episode of the Middleditch and Schwartz thing, they're both about an hour long, I think, because that's what the time frame Netflix gave them for when they recorded these.
Mm-hmm.
But the second episode is so funny. It's called, I'm going to tease you with the title.
Ooh, okay.
It's called Law School Magic.
School Magic.
Law School Magic. It's going to be a thing that I think I'm going to be quoting for a very long time.
I'm going to have to watch it.
It's like, you don't even have to watch them in order. Just start with the second one. Just start with the second one, Josh.
Okay.
Just watch that one. That's all you have to do. If you want to watch more, it's okay. Just watch the second one at least. It's so funny.
I will do that.
It's so funny. With that, do you have any closing thoughts, Joshua?
I do not.
Well, Bedbugs and any other listeners, thank you for watching or listening to this episode of The Side Table. We hope you are safe. Well, at this time of recording, we hope you are safe.
Oh, but they can always be
I
safe.
hope you're always
Jeez,
safe.
you're so insensitive.
Healthy, and you just try to keep things light. Do our recommendations. They'll make your life better. Guaranteed 100%. That's what Trump told me. I got a letter from him in the mail yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, about the IRS depositing the $1,200.
Did it have
or
his
whatever.
signature on it?
It did have his signature on it. So
Jeez.
I have his autograph.
Now use it to
So-
forge a bank loan.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to. Of probably a small loan of $1 million. And I'll build my empire from it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. That's what he did. That's what I'm going to do because legend. With that, have a wonderful day, everyone.